If Sai has born to us, then we have to take care of him anyway. Unlike to the parents I meet every day when they feel like helpless, they feel like why us, they feel like why God had chosen us for a special thing. My parents were class apart. They felt if Sai is disabled, if doctor says saying that same thing, medical treatment is saying the same thing, then we will be a special parents for him. We will do everything, whatever need to be done for Sai to grow up and be someone. So because you say inspire someone today, so my first inspiration were my parents who took care of me the way, and now I have become what I am today.
Welcome to Inspire Someone Today podcast, a show where we dive into the stories and insights that has the power to create ripples of inspiration in your life. I'm your host Shrikant and I'm thrilled to be with you on this journey of inspiration. Listeners of Inspire Someone Today, welcome back. This is episode number 148. Yes, we are getting closer to the landmark 150 episodes. I can't be more thrilled than today to have this wonderful guest joining us. What do you do when life hands you brittle bones and an indomitable spirit? Well, in today's episode of Inspire Someone Today, we meet Dr. Sai Kaustubh Dasgupta, a designer who types with one finger, a speaker who has addressed thousands, and a soul who has built a life of joy from what May would call fragments. He's been fractured more than 50 times, but it's not the bones that define him. It's the unbreakable will behind that smile. From the design studios to TEDx stages across the world, Dr. Sai Kaustubh, his journey is not about disability, but about discovering delight in the unlikely. It's an absolute joy to have Dr. Sai joining us for this episode of Inspire Someone Today. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sai.
Thank you, Srikant. Thank you so much for having me here. It is really an honor to be inspire someone today, and I'm so excited about this episode with you.
Likewise, it's been a long wait, but for sure, the wait is worth what we have been wanting to have this conversation with you, Sai.
Yes, it's called in Hindi, sabar ka pal meeta hota hai. So I think universe has its own timings for everything, and we have to follow that signal. So yeah,
Yeah,
looking forward for having a great conversation with you today.
likewise. So, listeners, as they say, your body might be fragile, but your purpose doesn't have to be. And that's what defines Dr. Sai. And let's dive in. Dr. Sai, if I were to kind of get started with it, let's begin with your story. What was your childhood like? How did your journey shape to the person that you are today?
See, the story, I always tell that story of anyone, whoever is inspiring today millions of people, always start with some dark side or the black and white side or the suffering, something. Because that's what made us strong. And it was in my story also, the same thing happened. Although I was born in a very beautiful place called Siliguri, it's in the north side of India. And if you have to visit Darjeeling, Bhutan, and all this place, you have to go via NGP, that is in Siliguri. And my parents were born and brought up there. So I really had a very beautiful cultural family. The background and everything was very beautiful. The place is also, scenic beauty of the place is very mesmerizing. So I was born all okay. I was born in the month of October, 6th of October. And it was all fine. I was born normal and nothing, doctor found anything wrong while I was. The main story started when I had my first fracture. And it happened when I was 3.5 months old. My mother was, after feeding me, transferring me to my grandma's lap. And after a while, I started crying. And she was very clueless the why I started crying because I'm full with food and all. Uh, so my grandma's also were very surprising. Then after some while, my mom felt my right hand is just moving unusual, and might be I'm getting some pain there in the near the shoulder. So she then found something wrong. My father came and then they made me to go to a nearby doctor's place. Thereby seeing me, only doctor found I am having a fracture in my below the right shoulder. And doctor was also a little bit surprised, and same way my parents, that how can a small baby without any mishap or accident is having a fracture. Anyway, the doctor did what they had to done, and I came back. And then after that incident, within a year, 3 more times I had similar mishap in different position of the body. And that's how my parents found that I am having this multiple fracture. So something wrong with my bones. And then they took me to Kolkata because I'm talking about the time when Siliguri had no much advanced medical facility. So when I went to Kolkata, I was 1.5 year old. The doctor there, clinically diagnosed the brittle bone disease. They told all the symptoms are matching. Actually, they did not do any medical diagnosis or uh, any DNA test or nothing. They did only they did what that clinically they saw my symptoms are matching with the disease. They described me and they first diagnosed me. I'm having this Y. So my parents also were very new to the disease. They never heard of anything that what kind of precaution or medicines I can take. And to their utter surprise, there was no medicine. Doctor told you have to take care of him. Take care in bracket extra. Everything you have to do extra for him because his bones are so brittle and it can fracture anytime, anywhere. We cannot predict his future, his way of living. We cannot say what is the going to condition. So my parents were with a mix of emotion. They found that okay, if Sai has born to us, then we have to take care of him anyway. Unlike to the parents I meet every day when they feel like helpless, they feel like why us, they feel like why God had chosen us for a special thing. My parents were class apart. They felt if Sai is disabled, if doctor says saying that same thing, medical treatment is saying the same thing, then we will be a special parents for him. We will do everything, whatever need to be done for Sai to grow up and be someone. So because you say inspire someone today, so my first inspiration were my parents who took care of me the way, and now I have become what I am today. So that way my childhood started with lot of pain, suffering, as I say, all the dark things, all the unplanned childhood, all the fear of fracture and fear of society's way of looking toward me, pressure of childhood, education, everything. Not mixing up with the society, not mixing up with the people who had zero idea about this kind of critical disease. So I was actually finding something to in my childhood to be strong because I knew that people say you drink Horlicks, Bonvita, complain, be strong. But in my case, my bones were very fragile. I had to be extra strong to protect myself from the fracture. So by the time I grown up, multiple fractures happened more than, eh, I still and I remember the number like it got 50, so more than 50 fractures. I'm saying we smile, but it's not something to smile. It was too much I had to go through, but I was actually a dancer my first years, and then I had to stop it because of the physical disability. I came into music. I was a good student. I never been into special school. My parents never felt like giving side to a special school. They felt if I can do good education, why need to be sitting with the special children? He can go in normal school. So I was, grown up that way to see my disability as a normalizing thing to balance my life with my talent of music, dancing, and then I have a good talent of mixing up with the people. I used to be very good in indoor games because I never had a chance to go outside and play football and cricket. So my childhood was altogether a different story. But if I sum up, I always was happy to be myself and under the guidance of my parents. And I knew I am different, but I was proud of my difference. That was it.
Wow. That is all I can say. I'm spellbound with your outlook towards what has happened to you and still having that happy smile reflecting on things that has happened. Credit and kudos to your parents for that belief, for the trust that they have had. Hats off to each one of you. Fast forward today, 2025. You have not only kind of overcome lot of these barriers in what a beautiful way. You are from a little brittle bone Sai to Dr. Sai Kaustav Dasgupta. That is something special. Tell me and my listeners, what is Dr. Sai doing in current state today?
Dr. Sai is on a mission now to make the nation wheelchair friendly, to make all the parents know their children are what special they're about, and to a mission about knowing your true happiness, knowing your true self, and always be grateful of what God has given to you. Because inspiration is not outside. Inspiration is a medicine you have to create from your inside, and that inspiration comes when you are your real self. Most of the time, we are not in our real self. We are someone whom we feel we have to show. In our offices, we are the good employee. In our schools, we are good students. In our home, we are good husband. We are good son. We are good brothers. But very often, we are real self. And the real self is all about your success and your future holds for you. So after all the tragedy, all the suffering, all my pain, everything I had gone through, ultimately I found that nothing can define me if I allow myself to defining what I really choosing. Because life is all about a choice. Because I think pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. So I have suffered if I had to choose more of my suffering. I could have chosen the corner of the room to stay whole day. I could have choice to be inside the confinement zone, but I chose the opposite. I chose to stand by using my wheelchair. I chose that 90% disability. Yes, it has broken me, but I'm not bitter. So I'm having my spirit as you started with. Unbreakable spirit is something God has given me as a software inbuilt one, and I'm using it every day, every moment to make other people happy.
How wonderful. What an outlook that you have, Sai. And it's easy said than done, right? To kind of going through what you have gone through to say that keep that chin up, keep that spirit high. I'm sure you would have had your fair share of ups and downs, more downs than ups going up. How did you build this mental resilience? Was it a given you had it, or you built on it? How did you go about building that resilience, that mental resolute?
Mental resilience is something, uh, over the years I had to build it because I'm now a mental wellness advocate. So when I talk to the people, I always talk about my story and my journey, my takeaways to my learnings of the life. When I saw the index is going up and down, I never felt that only up should be there because I know when I'm in down, I know there is an opportunity to make myself more strong because every moment I have to feel vulnerable because I knew I am fragile. I have more than fractures than anyone in my surroundings could ever imagine for. But those suffering, those fractures, those pain, other side of my life made me strong enough to give the value. There were moments which I never expected, never wished for, but they still came to my life. I feel that people sometimes see my smile and they feel that they assume that it always effortless. When I give talks all over the world, if they feel you are certified happiness coach, your mental resilience is top. You are the happiest person. And that should be ideal life of the happiness coach. That is picture perfect one. But I'm telling you today, frankly, it's not always that. Because if you are all still happy, you absolutely have to be still happy. But happiness is a wave of length. It's a frequency. It's a vibration, and you cannot be always frequent in that same vibration. So happiness is not in absence of hardship. It's the courage to face the harsh. And pain, as I told you, when I get pain, nowadays also sometimes I get muscle pain and all this thing. Yes, fracture stopped because I am now more mature enough towards my disease. And doctors also predicted the same. And the good thing is that I have now did my all the tests and now clinically and all those medically also it's proven that I actually am not having that hardcore disease. It was actually a problem in my bones which made me brittle. So anyway, that's a separate chapter. What I'm trying to say that accepting myself with all the disease and with all the journey which I had on, even when the path was not fair for me, I never wanted to be in pain, in the discomfort or limitation. Never had planned to be in wheelchair all my way, but each day I'm choosing to be resilient more, to be more open up because I feel that if you are not opening up your disability or your issues or your pain, you cannot stand tall in the adverse. So that's the mantra, I think. More you be yourself, be vocal about your true self, talk about your issues, and you can feel that you are more resilient towards adversity. And adversity for me actually became a gift because I knew that people will talk to me as a disabled, but now I have that enough power to talk to them and that I'm not only disabled or specially able, I'm a limited edition.
You're a limited edition. That's a superb outlook to have. And again, like I said, I go back to that. It is not easy for you to kind of wake up every morning to have that kind of an attitude that you're having. What are those moments? How did you kind of pick up those pieces every day to kind of show up the way you show up? What practices did you adapt? Or what are some of those unique stuff that you did for you to be who you are, to beat those negativity, to beat those toxicity?
Okay, so practices, yes, I do practice meditation, I do practice spirituality. I'm a spiritual guy, so that was, magically came to my life from my grandmother to my ancestors. They were very spiritually grounded people. That spiritual energy actually helped me to overcome a lot of fear, a lot of unpredictable things in my life. So I don't know how do I balance when I feel that I'm authentic or not, or which be staying positive without slipping into the trap of toxic positivity. People say being positive is very important. But sometimes we actually do not feel positive. We write those things in the social media or we show our positivity. But end of the day, while going to your bed, you have to ask yourself, are you really a positive person? Let me be honest to you, Shrikant. When people see me smiling, delivering motivational talks or, designing colorful visual with one finger, and then they feel that it is all about positivity and that's the truth. But sometimes it is the positivity I need to gain through my parents' wisdom, through when I go out, I meet people. It is not an inbuilt something. We have to practice those affirmations. And I speak about happiness, being a certified happiness coach. When I feel that I talk about my wheelchair, my little bone, that the silence night in hospitals, I, along with them, I also talk about my achievements, my awards, my recognition, and my overcome. That's how I balance both of them. Because if you are being positive 24 into 7, that's only possible in a movie. In practical life, when we actually showcase positivity, we have to balance the positivity with our negativity also. And it is very easy to being negative, as I have experienced in the society. When you are into a society where people are ready to say no to you, I really feel that negativity is something people are always be with you. Negative people, their mindset, their outlook towards you. But in between all these things, if you are really having positive booster dose with you, nobody can make you down because you have to take charge of yourself, the real remote control in your hand, so that people can, completely cannot take away your real things. You have your control in your hand. That's also the authenticity is always talk about your darkness, dark period, but positivity is it's way around of light, the light of being yourself, one small spark at a time.
One spark at a time. So lovely, so beautifully stated there. You're right. It is not to be positive, to have that sense of 24/7 positive on, but that authenticity, that having the right set of people around you, the practices that you mentioned are all tools for you to get towards that. And in this process, you're also an happiness coach now. You're an evangelist of happiness. How did that come along? What do you mean by happiness coach?
When I came out in the wheelchair, this wheelchair where I'm sitting now, it's the electric one, I had a new life altogether. So 2009 to 2015, due to the severe downside of my physical disability, I had to confine in a small way. And that was the time the word called happiness went out from my life because I was never expected to be in that condition, nor my parents. Due to the multiple fractures, the side effect of my bone condition altogether made my life upside down. So I had to leave my education. I had to leave my music classes. I'm also a musician. I had to leave all the passionate things from my hand. Only 365 days I was sitting down with a rest, back rest, and my parents were feeding me. Then I lied out the whole. So that is the time I was diving deep into my life and I was feeling, what is actually happiness? Is there anything which made me happy today? Or is there anything what I can do for my happiness? Because each and every day I was going through the situation, I was meeting face to face with depression. There's so-called hashtag in this life. People feel like if I'm not having depression, then I'm not someone to talk with. But it was not a hashtag in my life. I was meeting depression. I was feeling depressive, very, very deeply depressive because from the childhood, I was someone always to be lighting up my whole self. my surrounding, my body, and my skill set and everything. But that's the time I was helpless. I used to cry, I used to shout, and as I told the previously that people feel that happiness goes like this picture perfect. Not that. There is so much struggle behind to be in the condition of happiness. So at a moment when I felt truly that I cannot save myself, I was feeling like dying. That's a moment I heard a voice from the inside. You can call it the voice of heart, voice of soul, or anything you would like to call it out. That sound was very strong, and that was the sound, that was the instruction, that was a statement, and it was very strong that if I lose, then what about the thousands of people outside? All other sides will take care of it. That was the time I started feeling like, am I losing myself? And if I'm losing myself, then what can be the definition of happiness in a family of a special children? What kind of message will go to a parents? Will be seeing that अगर ताई के parents कर नहीं पाए तो हम लोग क्या कर पाए? That kind of message should go, and I have no right to lose myself because it's not only size life. I'm connected with millions of souls around me who are looking at me as a motivation, inspiration, as someone to look up as a beacon of hope. So I have to come out anyway. For that, any extent I can. And that's the reverse journey started. And I felt if I have to reverse back, I need a tool. And then I found the happiness is the most important tool. Because when you do something with happily, you love your work, then nobody can stop you to be a successful person. That time I had nothing, no career, no education, only one finger working with pain, no other body parts at work. One of my friends came and suggested try out, computer, work diplomas and all. You can get some in it. And I was very much depressed and I know how to do that. With one finger, have you ever heard someone doing designing or computer? He said you can try at least because if you cannot, then you cannot come out and talk with those people who are looking for you. If you have to do something big. And then I borrowed one computer and I felt like, let me try. With one finger working with lot of pain, I started holding my mouse and moving the cursor in the desktop. I had a desktop that time. And it took me 15 minutes to move the cursor. It was too much painful. But still I did. And 1 year time I completed my diploma and 2 year I became graphic. So as I say, there is a will, there is a way. It is all about your spirit. It's all about your choice to come out. And then when I made my graphic designing, the happiness I got, I felt I felt it's the new beginning. I came out in the wheelchair. I saw the blue sky. I felt the happiest being in the world because I was crying and that was the tears of happiness. And my parents were again felt like, Chalo, finally, I have seen a new day. And there's no look back. I started talking my story. I became a speaker. But then also I was finding some gap. That what is that gap? When I started going to people, and then I found if I have to talk to people confidently, I have to have some certification. Especially in India, nobody listens to you without NBT. So I started my education and I started researching on happiness and I got certification from Transformation Academy, Florida, became India's first certified happiness coach. And that's the most great recognition I could ever have because I am not talking about happiness by reading a textbook or watching a YouTube or listening to a podcast. I experience deep mind in my bones, in my nerves, in my heart. So people when call me as the embodiment of happiness, I truly need. So when people touch my hand, they feel the radiation of happiness. So it happened because I practiced over the years to be a happy, to be your real happiness because it's the pure things from the heart. And that's why my signature, and I always carry it unconditionally to everyone passing to me over today, because my mission, as I told you in the beginning, to create a happy, inclusive, accessible world.
What a noble and large mission that you have. I am wishing you, on behalf of all of my listeners, for continued success on this wonderful mission. And along the way, from being depressive, sitting in that room for days together, to what a transformation that you have had. Just not becoming a happiness coach, you are seen as a leading light in the field of accessibility and disability in India. You are seen as an advocate, as a change maker. Tell us a bit about it. And along the lines, if there's one policy change, if you would recommend, that will help lot of the accessibility issues that is prevailing in the country, what would that one change that you would recommend?
Accessibility issues in India are diverse, because accessibility is not a word in dictionary. Accessibility is all around it. When we are listening to this podcast, someone is watching, there are different modes of accessibility, People with hearing impairment will be not able to listen this podcast. For them, a written copy is nicer. And when we talk about accessibility, we feel it's RAM, it's accessible devices. These are the crucial. I know these are all crucial things, but it is not only thing that accessibility means. When we uh, talk about accessibility, it actually happens into lot of verticals: physical accessibility, mental accessibility, emotional accessibility, and then psychological accessibility. So physical accessibility is all about your disability right acts and making the public places, infrastructure, your surrounding areas equally accessible for all kind of disabled people. That's the starting work. But when we talk about mental accessibility, it is all start your mind. As I said, inclusion is not a luxury, it's a mindset. Inclusion starts from your own sense and from your home. Until you feel yourself inclusive, you cannot go out and talk about. So it's all about practicing the right thing, right way, in right time. And when I talk about psychological accessibility, it's a breach which bring that gap up to narrow mindset, the mindset with less awareness, the mindset with lack of education, towards the closer of the people who has the ability to make them understand what is this accessibility all about. So trying to get equal access in your day-to-day life makes you accessible. When we go into a washroom, you may find there are two kind of washroom. One is Indian and Western. And we cannot say that the both ways you will live because it's accessible. Because it starts from you. If you can access Indian washroom, it is accessible for you. If you are not able to use some kind of things in your life that makes your life lack of accessibility. So when I started going out, talking to people about accessibility, people were always, you know, knew that okay, I have to make ramps and all. The lift need to be have lower switches and all. Then we should have tactiles in the public places, in metro station for people with visual impairment. All the movies should have caption for the people with hearing and speech disability. Those things people already knew. So they asked me what is new, what is the newness, why you are so much into accessibility. I told them a very simple thing, and that made them to think. I told them that you use stairs, we use ramp. Both are making you to go into select admission. Then why you have to make a signboard with a wheelchair showing the ramp towards us and looking to me and saying that this is for you. That's the most exclusive way of showing us that we are disabled and it is for us, because the destination is same and it doesn't matter what the way I'm choosing. I may choose a ramp, you may choose a staircase, but where we're going is the same. So making our places equally accessible, and those things are not something extra we ever are. It is the human design principle to make a place equally accessible. Especially in the outside India, they always think over it first and then they make a building. But in India, if I call a restaurant or phone or a cafe, if I ask about RAM, and they say, no, we do not have it. The next answer, you should not come to our cafeteria then. Enjoy it somewhere else. That's the behavior of people or mindset we are having in India, and it takes some time. I'm trying my best to be an accessible advocate through my campaign, through my social media handle. We are trying our best. I'm trying my best to make people first aware. You do not have to go outside and spend money to make a damn first, understand why a ramp needed. What is the benefit of a ramp? Then go out and check the part people and make it happen. So I have in my mind to make an app in future. If anyone listening to my audio and this podcast, I really have a plan to make a universal app which easily helps you to understand what is inaccessible in your life, what is unlimited in your life. And that way you can procure it and help yourself to be 100%. Let's see if God says all your support I get, and I definitely plan to make some app which makes you 100%.
Absolutely. That is not a fallout cry. I am sure the cosmos will conspire and make this happen. And to a lot many ways, I was reflecting on this. Disability is not a limitation. Design is. In lot many ways, that is what you're kind of highlighting it out. Disability is not an issue. Design is the issue.
See, designing is not an issue actually if you are really having an open mind. As I said, universal design to make your workplace accessible, equal. All this thing is not a one day thing, no. It is like when you are entering into your office, from the entrance to the workplace, then cafeteria, your front of the menu in the cafeteria, everything need to be equally designed. That imagine Srikanth in a town hall if everything starts from scratch by having mind of all the people are included, then the laptop, screen, mouse, mic, table, chair, everything required in a town hall will be automatically by default accessible. You can use it anywhere and it can be used by any people until regardless their disability or ability. So that kind of atmosphere we have to build so that the design should be universally equal and the design should inspire you to contribute. That is what I feel like we have to when you do in the future. When you feel a platform is enough universally designed, accessible way, you feel that design makes yourself contributing your best self in the forum. Because all of us here with a purpose. And until unless we find the right platform, we cannot fulfill the purpose. And that makes us frustrated. That makes us less. That makes us going to that period of time when we feel that maybe I have not chosen my right career, or maybe I'm not worthwhile to build a good family. Maybe I'm not worthwhile to be a successful person because we are having lacking of that platform which designed the way we need. You know, equality and equity. People are talking about these two terms nowadays. Equality and equity are very important and both are fully different. Equality is giving one thing equally to everyone, and equity is giving everything to everyone the way they need. So if I am expecting my communication toward my office or any public places need to be accessible, I need not to go to a wheelchair accessible cab or car. The railway, the other, every communication way should have a place equally for me. I still now I cannot fly into a flight because it's not accessible 100%. The way it has the policies, there are hundreds of misalignment in the policy. So design is important. Then you have the limitation, because limitation for everyone is different. I'm a locomotor disability. Someone had made spinal cord injury. So you cannot define limitation the way it is existing, but you can definitely define your design the way everyone feels their voice in heart, everyone feels they are seen, everyone feels they are valued. That universal design we all are enriching for, looking for, and hoping.
That's true. And in all of your journeys, Sai, any instances or any anecdotes of empathy or inclusivity that happened quietly than being shown as a tokenism?
A lot of times, I have given multiple talks into different forums. Till now, 1,000+ talks I have given to globally, even in the Google head office and all. When I started this journey, I used to, build my presentation. Being a designer, I'm very good in my presentation. But when I had to send those to the people, higher authorities, the organizing committee, sometime I used to be in that call and they used to ask me that, okay, we have made it accessible for you, Sai, and look at it if it is accessible for you, or we have to do something else. And then I saw a comment in the chat. Someone is saying why it is needed accessible. So they wrote there because Sai is visible, so he needs some accessibility feature. So that is, I think, silently making us feel like we are the class apart. We are not ever feeling to be class apart. I always feel that we also have a right to go to a INOX and watch a movie. We also have a right to go in the ice cream parlor and enjoy ice cream. Why we have to go always the last in the line? Because it takes time to go and have our ice cream, or it is people's impatience, or the way of looking towards up, the judgmental way that person is taking time in wheelchair to let he or she go to the last. The ever people come to the path. Ability and visibility is a silent tokenism. Always we are doing indirectly or directly in our conversation. We never feel so much enriched in our thought process. That's why I always tell people, think before think. You are thinking about one's ability, you are judging my visibility in your own mindset or with a blend of your own thinking. So that's why that's the moment I replied to those people that you should not make an document acceptable for me alone, because I can read anything in any document. Why I told you to make the document accessible? Because that is the correct way to me. You are not giving me something special because I am a speaker. It's the way you should do it, and that should be the
That should be the default setting.
yes. That's what I think in different forums in my childhood itself, when I used to be in the railways, going somewhere as a vacation with my parents, I was so thin. I was so skinny and thin because of lack of my strong lifestyle and a lot of calcium intakes and all. I never had to have good food. My stomach was not able to digest. So I still remember my lot of people used to be in trade with me, and they used to tell my mom and dad कि सारा खाना आप ही लोग खा जाते हो क्या? इसको भी कुछ खिलाओ. And it said that they used to see me as a person to talk about. It is not the right way to see as someone. Like human being can be in any shape, any way, any so gender, color, body shape, all these things are not defining your who you are. The moment people can come out of those lens of tagging us, they will be less frustrated, they will have less complaint, and they will have that ideal mindset to respect each and every individual in society.
So very true. This is out of script. If I can have your permission, can you rekindle the musician in you and get you to kind of hymn one or two lines for the benefit of our listeners?
Definitely, out of script is everything, Shrikant. We are having this podcast. It was not scripted. Whatever I'm telling you now, all the question answered. I just had some of your questions handy to me, but our life is all without speed because we do not know
So true.
moment what is going to happen. We never knew this war has happened between India and all. So we never knew that India will have COVID. So everything is without script only. Nothing is scripted. And I do believe that's the game of life. And that should be the life. If everything is scripted, we know what is going to happen. There's no maza. So
That's true.
definitely love to sing something from for you. It's one of my favorite songs. I sing it for myself. I sing it for audience. And every time I sing, I feel positive. Hope inspire someone today will inspired by this song. All the audience will listen. When I am down and all my thoughts already, when troubles come, my heart but then beats. Then I am still and waited in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raised me up so I can stand on mountain. You raised me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be. Thank you.
Oh, that's powerful. Thank you. Thank you for this impromptu song. If we are ready, we'll get into the power of the round.
Yes, yes, I'm always ready.
So, the first of the power of the round question to you, Sai, if we were to have this conversation 5 years from now, what would that three pieces of advice that you would give to your future self?
First one is what I believe now, also the same thing. Always stay rooted to your purpose and not perform. So I believe in purpose. Performance can be, like you are, down you, always something because it's not in our hand, but purpose in our hands. So stay grounded and humble. And the second is that I believe more. Let smile remain your superpower. I truly am in love of my smile and anyone who smile. I even love your smile, Scott. So
Thank you.
let it be your superpower. And the third, and I think the guidance I should give to my future self, that lead with love, even the world forget to love yourself.
Beautiful. Such a beautiful advice, Sai. Three micro experiments listeners can embrace to develop an inclusive mindset. What are those three micro experiments that you do to have that kind of a mindset?
That's a good thing. I do a lot of experiment, but if I have to share three, sometimes I spend my day in my laptop or phone just by using the voice command or the way people with hearing abilities or speak abilities are using those. That makes me more value into my eyes and ears and mouth. That's the habit I have of being inclusive to try to put myself into their shoes and just try experimenting with the apps and all, how they work. That's one thing I do. And sometime I start some project my family because I believe family, the support system is your oxygen. They will never say no to you. They will never feel you alone. So if I am starting some project, I always take their permission and sit with them, do a study circle all with them, take their guidance. So I do value family culture that I do the practice for being inclusive. And third thing is that I try to follow at least three inspiring people each week through my social media, through my circle or connection or network, so that I can learn three new things in a week to carry forward my next future day.
Yeah, that's a nice micro experiment out there. Thank you for sharing that. What are three things on your bucket list, Sai?
My bucket is full. It's so heavy. But if I have to choose the upper one, the top three, first thing is that I wish to fly the accessible way and to visit Dubai with my family. Dubai is my dream place. I usually will fascinated by seeing the nets of Dubai, the buildings and all. So I really would love to fly there. That's my first thing. And then I would like to deliver a motivational talk or a TEDx talk, any talk, United Nations headquarters, maybe on a subject of global disability inclusion or sustainable development goal, which I actually do represent India in United Nations. So I really would like to go in person and give the talk there in front of all the officials. It just because I wish all the topmost people of the world should listen my idea. It may change them or it may not change. But if I get a platform to deliver my ideas, I'm more than happy. Third thing in my future, if God gives me strength, enough financial condition, or enough love and support from all the people like you, I'd like to build a museum of happiness. And that gives you everything A to Z about happiness. It gives you the 360-degree experience of happiness, and lot of nice things should be there to go through as an experience. And if you are a sad person, the destination would be that museum to go and come back as a happy person. And that should be 100% accessible for everyone. That's my
Lovely bucket list. Wonderful bucket list there. The last of the power of three questions, Sai. What three book or podcast recommendations that you have for us?
okay, okay. This question is already important because it's also very difficult because I'm a fan of a lot of the reading books and all, a lot of authors and lot of podcasters around me. Whenever I get chance, I listen to some and all. If I got to cover the books first, the book Visibility. It's edited by Alice Ong. It's a beautiful connection, powerful connection of many essays of disabled activists or the more top people all over the all over the world. So disability, visibility. That book is one of my good collection book. And second is Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. It's a very spiritual book, but it has given me enough vision for my, as you say, future self and my present self. Because I am not much into my future because I feel one day at least, as I said, one spark at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time. So I do believe in present, but if you really have to have a future and how to make it concrete and strong on the ground of spirituality, that the book made me, and I do love Paramahamsa Yogananda's ideas and all. And one of the last book is Life's Amazing Secret by Gopal Das. So that also beautifully transformed many of my thinking. And when I become a motivational speaker, that was really handy. So these three are the book. If I talk about podcast, I know that lot of things happened. I'm not going into that deeply, but I love TRS podcast because we cannot judge a person just by an incident. I have learned many things from TRS podcast personally. So I love Ranveer's podcast. Secondly, there is a very beautiful podcast called WTF is with Nikhil Kamath, Nikhil Kamath. So Nikhil Kamath and Nitin Kamath are both are very inspiring figure for me, and I do really know their mother, Rebati Kamath, personally. So I do follow their things and the podcast, which made me, strong enough in my entrepreneurship ideas, in my accessible clothing ideas, and all those things. How to be inclusive for everybody know what. And last but not one of very favorite podcast is Inspire Someone Today. I do follow you from long years. I do follow your podcast. And this is one of my happiest day to be a person in your podcast today because I do inspire from you today and maybe millions will inspire from me after listening. And it's a chain of change and transformation. I love the name Inspire Someone Today because as I believe, live in today. Do not think about your yesterday or tomorrow. Live in your today, because everything you can do to make beautiful today, do it. Because kal ho na ho.
Al ho na ho. That's so wonderfully, so aptly said, Sai. Before we sign off, like you rightly said, Inspire Someone Today is a platform to create ripples of inspiration. So, what is your Inspire Someone Today message to all the listeners before you and I sign off from this episode?
I already have given my message to everyone. I think if I sum up my conversation towards whatever we discussed today, that actually gives me three things as we are doing the three things in our life. First is, nobody can motivate you unless until you allow. So be your motivator first. That way you are the first step towards the success. And you don't have to be an achiever every day. Sometimes waking up in the morning and be grateful for everything also is a big recognition you are giving it to yourself. So do not feel that Sai is a national awardee, Sai is a world record holder, so Sai can talk all these things. Do not you have to be shy, but follow what is good for you. Follow your own path, because nobody's footstep or fingertips are equal. Everyone is special and everyone is good at something. And last but not the least, rather on focusing what we cannot do, because most of the time we are indulge ourselves on our cannot do things, what we are not able to do or what we are not finding good for ourselves. Let's change the track. Follow your can do's, follow your tick marks for your ability, follow your right skill set, follow all your good things, and you will feel that you love yourself the most way, and you feel that you are the most truly human person in this world who can do anything and anything. Because as I said, if you have the dream to achieve your goals, you cannot sleep in the night, you cannot sleep in the day, because you are living in the dreams. And when you sleep, that sleep is for you to go and achieve your dream. So I always tell that life is all about trying new things. So why not trying to be happy? If after all these fractures, my physical disability, my hearing impairment, I am using my hearing aid to listen to Khan's question. After all suffering, anxiety, problem, depression, today you can Google my name as a world, global icon. Each I can do what is stopping all you can do. And never ever forget to smile, because that makes your face so good, makes you beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. Love you all.
After I couldn't have asked for more. If spreading smiles and inspiring lives had a name, that name is yes for Dr. Sai Kaustav. Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation, and wishing you loads and loads of luck and success as you traverse towards this path of making a difference to the world. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Inspire Someone Today. This is Srikanth, your host, signing off. Until next time, continue to carry the ripples of inspiration. Stay inspired, keep spreading the light.